Hello, America. Welcome to the Springer Show, the voice of conservative truth. I'm your host, Brian Springer. Today, we're cracking open the skull of the left's propaganda beast. This is not some tinfoil hat rant. It's a red-hot expose on how the Democrats and their liberal goons are weaponizing the government lies to bury President Trump, Elon Musk, and the rest of the conservatives under a mountain of bull. We're talking historical puppet masters like Bernays, Goebbels, and Lenin, mixed with 2025's tech-fueled mind games. This is going to be loud, it's going to be savage, and it's going to arm you with the truth. Let's rip into it. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about propaganda and the propaganda beast that is overrun not only this country, but the entire world. You understand that propaganda is literally everywhere. This show could be called propaganda. Every other political show could be called propaganda, from magazines to billboards to TV ads and radio ads. It's all considered propaganda. The idea is to get you to think a certain way, or perhaps change your mind into purchasing something, or maybe change your mind politically or socially. Propaganda is all around us all the time. But I want you to picture this. You're drowning in a cesspool of headlines. Trump's a fascist. Musk is a greedy overlord. And freedom is nothing more than a dog whistle for chaos. It's not random noise. Okay? It's propaganda. It's a script. And the Democrats are the directors, at least for right now. They have a playbook that's older than dirt and nastier than swamp rats. They pull levers to make you hate the only guys who are fighting for you. That's what they want. Today we're going to tear that apart, how the left is recycling propaganda from history's worst tyrants and juicing it with 2025's tech to smear Trump, Musk, and the entire right side of the aisle, including you. If you don't wake up to this now, there may be nothing to wake up to later. I'll tell you what, let's start with a little history lesson. Let's start with Edward Bernays. This guy turned brainwashing basically into a 9-to-5 job. He was Sigmund Freud's nephew, if that tells you anything. And in 1928, Edward Bernays wrote in Propaganda, "The conscious and intelligent manipulation of the masses is an important element in democratic society." Think about that for a minute. He sold women cigarettes as torches of freedom. And it worked. They bought them. They started smoking. Even though he went home and tore up all the cigarettes that his wife was smoking. He didn't want her to smoke. He knew it was bad for her. He knew it caused cancer. But yet he was hired to propagandize the tobacco market. And it worked. Okay? Bacon and eggs for your morning breakfast. A quick back history. The pork farmers had started to see a decline in the sale of their meat. There was an increase in beef, eggs, and other meat. And so they went to him and said, hey, we need to make sure pork is sold. So he got to it and he started thinking, if I can sell the American public that the perfect breakfast was 2 eggs, slices of bacon, and some orange juice, That's including the pork. And you know what? It worked. He did it. And for years and years and years, the perfect quote unquote all American breakfast was 2 eggs, some slices of bacon, and some orange juice. That's all propaganda. Bernays did not peddle stuff, he peddled control, mind control. The Democrats are his disciples. Trust me on that. Trump's a threat to democracy. You've heard that over and over, haven't you? That's Bernays' Fear Factory cranked to 11. It's pure emotional blackmail. Next up, Joseph Goebbels. He was Hitler's lie machine, his propaganda minister. Joseph Goebbels, his actual title was the Reich Minister of Public Enlightenment and Propaganda. He said, if you tell a lie big enough and keep repeating it, people will eventually believe it. Think about that for a minute. If you tell a lie big enough and keep repeating it, people will actually eventually believe it. Now, how many times has this happened over and over throughout your life? Think about how many times you've heard a lie pushed over and over and over by the Democrats, by the liberals, by anywhere else, over and over until it's in your mind, it's burned in there, it's etched in there. And after a while, you think, hey, you know what? Maybe that's true. That works. The Nazis turned a nation into drones with that gem. The left has been screaming Trump's a racist since 2015. Of course, with no proof whatsoever. 10 years of the same broken record. It sounds like a lie big enough that keeps getting repeated, and people believe it, especially people on the left. One thing they'll tell you, I hate Trump, I can't stand Trump. Why? Well, he's a racist. Well, why is he a racist? What did he do? Nothing. You're a racist too, and I've got to leave. It's ridiculous. CNN, MSNBC, every social media post from some woke dipstick, it's all Goebbels' ghost haunting your feed. Then there's Vladimir Lenin, the Bolshevik butcher. He bragged, give me just one generation of youth and I'll transform the whole world. He hijacked Russia's kids with propaganda and crushed dissent. He took a generation of youth and propagandized their minds and got them to believe what he wanted them to believe. And as they grew up, they became his little army. Kind of sounds like the public education system now, doesn't it? The liberals are pulling the same stunt. They are shoving critical race theory, gender madness, and climate apocalypse down your kids' throats in these public schools. A 2024 National Association of Scholars report found 70% of U.S. public schools now teach critical race theory, up from 45% in 2020. It went from 45% to 70% of U.S. public schools teaching critical race theory in just 4 years. That's Lenin's dream, wearing a rainbow mask, targeting your babies while they trash Trump and Musk as the devil incarnate. This is all propaganda, folks. This is exactly what they want. Let's move forward to more current times. Let's hit 2025, where the Democrats have turned propaganda into a sci-fi horror show. They've got shiny new toys, and they're using them to choke the truth. I've got stats and examples to burn. Are you ready for this? First, they use coordinated narrative flooding. They blitz every platform, X, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all legacy media with the same identical lies until you can't breathe. Take Project 2025, Heritage's policy wish list. Kamala Harris tweeted on July 10th, 2024, quote, Project 2025 will destroy America, end quote. This was a line that was parroted by 1.2 million X posts in 48 hours per a March 2025 X analytics scrape. In 48 hours, 1.2 million people reposted that. Trump never endorsed it, but the flood made it his evil manifesto. By January of 2025, a Pew poll showed 63% of Democratic voters believed that Project 2025 was Trump's plan. Now that's up from 40% pre-flood. That is pure brainwashing by saturation. It may seem silly, but folks, it works, especially with today's youth and today's generations. They go to social media for everything, from the news to the truth to their information. There is no more research. There's no more looking stuff up on their own. They don't do that. Not like we did. They never had to go to a library and pull out the card catalog and find a book and go search for the book and then read the book and find information. Then with the introduction of the internet, Google made its way in. It was just a simple Google search. Well, Google must be telling me the truth because it's sending me the links to this, and this. So it was taken as law. Well, a quick Google search will show you exactly what's happening. Now it's social media. If it says it on social media, by God, it's true. With no research, no facts, no anything to back it up. Just go on any of your platforms, and I promise you, you'll see this. Second, there's weaponized decontextualization. Basically, they take something out of context and weaponize it. Guess what? It also works. They'll take a clip, strip the guts out of it, and weaponize it. March 4th, 2025, Trump tells Congress, we will cut waste and reform the system. Sounds pretty solid, right? Of course it does. The next day, AOC tweets, Trump wants to gut your health care. How in the hell did she get that? It was a lie pinned to a 15-second C-SPAN chop job that got 3 million views on social media. 3 million. And I guarantee you, of that 3 million, at least half of them believe exactly what was put on there. The fact is, Trump's 2025 budget proposal, per CBO leaks, keeps Medicare intact. Yet, 52% of X users polled on March 10th of 2025 bought AOC's spin, per Sprout social data. It's surgical distortion, and they are pros. They know how to take this information and put it out there and try to make you look as bad as possible. I mean, how often have we not seen recently that Trump's cutting Medicare, Trump's cutting Social Security, Trump's cutting Medicaid? None of this is true. Absolutely none of it. I challenge any of you to find any of this information to be factual. If you do, send it to me, and I will publicly apologize. I don't think it's going to happen. Third is Astroturfing outrage. Fake grassroots with real bots. Fake grassroots with real bots. Musk's IRS purge. 7,000 jobs axed by March 1st. Sparked the hashtag Musk steals, which is trending with 800,000 posts in 72 hours. 800,000 posts in 72 hours. Do you see how fast this spreads? It's like wildfire. It's possibly even faster than wildfire. Gateway Pundit's March 13th expose pegged 60% of those accounts as bots tied to a DNC-linked PR firm. Did you hear what I just said? Okay. Then Bernie Sanders hits MSNBC on March the 14th. He says, quote, Musk's a thief stealing from the working class, end quote. That clip was replayed 500,000 times. 500,000 times. That was put in somebody's mind. A Cornell study this month found 45% of X's top trends in 2025 so far were astroturfed, up from 30% in 2023. It's a fake mob, and the left's the puppet master. They get these bots out there. They take these clips. They put them out there. They put non-factual information out there, and they shove it in your face over and over and over again. And you know what? That goes right back to Joseph Goebbels. If you tell a lie big enough and keep repeating it, people will eventually believe it. These aren't guesses, folks. These are cold, hard numbers showing the Democrats' war on your mind. That is what propaganda is today. So why the meltdown, you might ask? Well, I'll tell you this. President Trump is a juggernaut. His March 10th Florida rally pulled 25,000 people per local PD estimates, while live streams hit 10 million views. Musk's X is a free speech battering ram. Daily active users have jumped to 600 million by March 2025 per Statista. That's up 20% since he gutted the censors, since he gave us free speech, since he took away people stopping you from putting out lies. Well, no, I can't say that. He gave us free speech, so you can put out lies freely. So there's a good and a bad to free speech. You can absolutely say what you want. You should have that right. Unfortunately, that means that people can lie and they can say whatever they want. And they can say it over and over and over again until you believe it. The left is losing their grip and they're pissed, I'll tell you that. They want you to believe their lies, but we're seeing through them. We're pushing past them with facts, with information, and that really pisses them off. Trump's tariff plan, 25% on imports, unveiled on March 8th, 2025, got spun by CNN as economic chaos. The reality is the United States Chamber of Commerce projects it will save 1.2 million manufacturing jobs by 2027. The U.S. Chamber of Commerce said that the tariffs are going to save 1.2 million manufacturing jobs in 2 years. But yet you've got the left out here crying and screaming about these tariffs and putting it in everybody's head. Now, I may not be a tariff supporter myself. I may not go off the deep end saying, yay, tariffs. But President Trump knows how to use them. This man is a mastermind when it comes to negotiations, when it comes to dealing with people. He knows what he's doing. But the left wants to push against him and stop every single thing he does. Instead of standing up and supporting him and saying, you know what, you're trying to help our nation, we back you. Every single thing he does, they scream and cry. It's embarrassing for them, actually. At this point, it really is. So going on, 68% of MSNBC viewers polled on March 12th think the tariffs will tank us. The lies stick when you have people like Rachel Maddow bleeding. Musk's ex is a misinformation sewer. Her March 12th rants at 2 million views. 2 million views right there. For Musk's ex is a misinformation sewer. Well, I'll tell you what, since it's free speech, it probably is misinformation sewer from the left. Because every time I go on there, I see people from the right putting on facts and statistics and numbers, and they can show where this information is coming from, how it's being compiled. But all I see from the left are screams and cries of how everything is horrible and you're just making things worse and blase, 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 without a single shred of evidence. Meanwhile, Elon Musk's SpaceX just launched Starlink 2.0, 90% rural broadband coverage by the year's end per FCC data. Yet the left calls him a planet killer. It's a smear campaign on meth. How do you call the man a planet killer when he came out with Tesla, the electric vehicles, which was soon followed by many other brands? And now, of course, the left is torching all the Teslas because they don't like him. But I'll tell you something. Stats don't lie. They do not lie. Gallup's March 2025 Trust Index shows only 29% of Americans trust legacy media these days. That is down from 36% in 2023. We have gone down in how many Americans trust the legacy media. The left's desperate because Trump and Musk are winning the war for your eyes. They're doing everything, and they are being transparent about it. And they're showing you where it's coming from, how they're doing it. Excuse me. And they are not shying away from it. No matter what the left is throwing at them, they are simply continuing to roll on. And it really pisses the left off. It scares them, and they are in disarray now because of it. Here's the deal, though, about propaganda. Propaganda only works if you let it. The left's betting you're too lazy to fight, scrolling social media, swallowing their bot-driven slop. But you're not a drone, are you? No, ma'am, no, sir. You're a patriot. So it's time to hit back. Let's post the truth. Dig into the raw data on X and any other factual information outlet you can find, not the filtered garbage. A 2025 Reuters, I don't know how you say that word, study says 74% of Gen Z gets their news from socials. Social media. They get news from social media, which is why it's easy to lie to them. It's time for you to be their signal in all of that noise. Be that shining beacon of light. Give them the truth. Put it out there. Show them the numbers. Show them the facts. Don't just go out there and discredit the left and say how horrible they are, how angry they are, blah, 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 blah. They're doing enough of that for themselves. The YouTube videos show it. The news shows it. These guys are falling over themselves. They don't know what to do. They're flabbergasted. They're out of it. You go out there and put out the facts. Put out the information and just keep putting it out. Use the propaganda machine to your advantage, not to lie, not to try to make somebody change their mind, but just give them the information. Let them decipher it for themselves and see if they're smart enough to take that information, research it, look it up, see how accurate it is, and perhaps maybe they'll want to leave the left on their own. Who knows? So, Trump and Musk are out there every day fighting and bleeding for us. I think it's time to man up and join the fray. It's time, since they've got our backs, that we have their backs. And not just Trump and Musk. They're just the two loudest, I think, right now. But the entire right. You've got a lot of good people over here. And don't ostracize me for saying this, but you really do have a lot of good people on the left as well. But there's a lot of people who are too scared to be their own voice because they don't want to be ousted by their comrades. They're too scared to stand up and say, you know what you're doing is wrong. What they're doing across the aisle is absolutely right. We should be joining them. We should be supporting our president. We should be happy that we're finding all this waste, fraud, and abuse and getting rid of it and bringing America back to America. But that's here nor there. I digress. So that's it, ladies and gentlemen. That's the propaganda machine, kind of as a whole. Use it, don't abuse it. Propaganda is everywhere. It's in our daily lives. Every time you look at something, I promise you, you'll start noticing it. So let's use it to get that information out. Let's push and see if we can't show these liberals, these Democrats, where they're going wrong and how they can improve and do better. We can all improve and do better. None of us are perfect by far. So the left's propaganda machine is a roaring beast, but we have the ammo to kill it. We have facts, guts, and grit. That being said, I would appreciate it if you would take a moment, comment, like, share, and subscribe. Help us grow this podcast and get the conservative truth out there. We want more people aware, and hopefully we will help open some eyes. I appreciate every single one of you for listening. I thank every one of you for being here. This is The Springer Show, voice of the conservative truth. I want you all to stay safe, and God bless you.